What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into the Fall of X with Children of the Vault issue number 1. Now, in the past, what we had seen is that Forge created essentially the Matrix. This put the Children of the Vault into a deep sleep. This prevented them from trying to take over everything. Because we already saw that when the Children of the Vault finally do come out of the Vault, mutant kind would fall, the world would fall, the galaxy would fall. And so with Krakoa going into hibernation, everything that Forge had set up to keep these guys in check is gone, which means it is time to wake up from their dream. And everybody's wondering what's going on with Bishop, what's going on with Cable. We already saw that Kate Pryde is back to being Shadowcat. With the fall of X, with the fall of Krakoa, the destruction of the Quiet Council, there are no more rules. Bishop is back to being a revolutionary. Mutant kind is fighting for survival. Nobody is pulling any more punches. So strap yourself in, cause this is going to be one heck of a ride. Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so the first thing I want to say as we dive into this issue is that Darwin is not in this issue. Now we can definitely expect to see him at some point in time, but Darwin has been locked in this vault for a very long time. We're gonna see exactly what has happened to that mutant over this amount of time. Hopefully we're gonna see him. Now this is only 4 issues, so maybe they're saving him for something else. Either way, we know that Darwin is in the vault. But this is what takes us to Ecuador, the vault after the fall. It doesn't take long for Serafina and all the others to awake from this dream. But when they come to, Serafina is the first to know. She gathers herself and machines, all machines of Earth. They tell her secrets at nearly the speed of light. At first, it's a how dare they. But then she knows what has happened. They know that the mutants are the one to do this. Their dream was their prison. As everybody prepares to crush mutant kind, Serafina lets them know that the world has changed. The mutants are gone. The dream is over and they are finally free. As they return to the vault, the city must be informed. You see, the Children of the Vault, they only really started everything they did because they saw mutant kind as a threat. That is why mutant kind has been their main target. That is why they have stayed in the vault for so long. They needed to surpass mutant kind in powers, abilities, omega level, etc, etc. They needed to be able to crush mutant kind. And now that mutant kind is off the board, there is no need for the violence that we had once seen. Now that mutant kind is gone, the Children of the Vault are gonna take a new approach. This is what takes us to northern Chile weeks later, as a young boy walks through all of these lithium fields. A young boy by the name of Rodrigo. What he sees above his head is a giant city. A city floating and coming down to the world. Because the Children of the Vault, they are now making it known to the world that they exist. They have come to save everybody. But before we get to that, we jump over to Cable. Right now, they have him in an Orcis black brain psychic interrogation site. Orcis had surprised him on his own ship. A ship that was now probably disassembled on the floor of an Orcis hangar. They also took his favorite arm. They took anything that they could get their hands on. But the only thing that he is saying or putting out is what is. For over a month now, they have been torturing him. They have tried everything, from the SHIELD Patriot probes all the way to psychic scalpels. They even tried talk therapy. When everything else failed, they went back to the all-time classic of pain and torture. Having Cable is one of the most precious assets they could ever get. Orcis wants his secrets. They want to know everything he knows about the past, the present, and especially the future. But the only thing they get out of Cable is those 3 words. What is. And while they have been studying him, he has also been studying them. The bubble he is in is a thought impenetrable designed to hold Xavier-level telepaths indefinitely. Left on his own, Cable would have escaped in about 3 more days. But sometimes, things just move fast. A lot can happen in 3 days. With a giant explosion, the Orcis soldiers get ready to open fire. But Cable doesn't have to do anything, as these soldiers are taken down very quickly. This is where we have the arrival of Bishop, another refugee from the future. Cable and Bishop have a long, bloody history together in the far future, and truthfully, Cable would rather accept help from Apocalypse. But Cable has really adopted the philosophy of accept what you can't change and change what you can. As more Orcis soldiers descend down on them, Cable uses his powers and says, wait, that these soldiers know us. Just like that, these Orcis soldiers are now on their side. In a moment, they realize that they are actually mutants. They are all Krakoan spies, and they will die for the cause. Cable has convinced these men that they are mutants and they work for Krakoa. Using these soldiers to their advantage, they face off against other Orcis soldiers, with Bishop blasting his way through all of these ranks. Cable remembers that they have his favorite arm, Bishop telling him that they're not going back for it, and Cable has no intention of going back for it. As they are able to escape this facility, that arm detonates, and with the detonation, this entire site explodes. Only one of these Orcis soldiers will survive. The survivor believing that he is a mutant, that he has been a spy this whole time. And while Orcis may try, they will attempt to make this man believe that he is actually under the influence of mutant powers. That night, he will escape from his holding cell. He will run to the roof, and he will attempt to use his mutant power of flight. The 10-story fall will break most of his bones and collapse his lungs. His dying wish will be that he be buried among his people on Krakoa, a wish that will not be honored. As they make their escape, Cable begins to dig into the mind of Bishop, really getting a sit-rep on everything that has taken place ever since the Hellfire Gala. Cable letting Bishop know that there is a place nearby that they can regroup, with Bishop welcoming Summers back, letting him know that everyone he loves is dead, and everyone that is still here, they want to kill you. This is what takes us to the Children of the Vault. They now call themselves the Children of Tomorrow. They send out a message to all of humankind. They send a message to the poor, to the hungry, to the diseased, to the impoverished, from Ecuador to Syria, from Chile to Brazil. They let them know that when their ancestors left, they understood that humankind was on a road to self-destruction, that we would need answers fast, and so they created the Vault. This allowed their society to progress 1,000 years. And so war, ecological catastrophe, disease, prejudice, poverty, pain, for this is all ancient history. They have solved the problems generations ago, and now they are wishing to share this with the world. Their ancestors left so that one day the future might return to save the past. That day is today. The future is here. Their message is simple. Leave the past behind and become the future. This all starts with a simple message. It begins with those who need to hear it the most. In the poorest places on Earth, self-replicating technology 10,000 years ahead of its time unfolds and it integrates itself. From Kenya to Yemen, buildings composed of brand new elements spring up overnight, consuming and converting the already existing architecture as raw material. The people of the world have dubbed these Tomorrow Towns. Machines that have been made to heal the wounds, expand lifetimes, expand the mind. Machines to rearrange rock into prime rib. Machines that string together oxygen and hydrogen atoms to create lakes from deserts. Machines that grant your every wish. Machines made of imagination. Machines that dream for you. The list of accomplishments continue to grow. From Captain to Prisma, they are saving the world. From tidal waves, from disaster, from floods, anything that you could think of. The children of tomorrow are here saving the day. At first, the governments fight against this, believing that it is a violation of sovereign territory. But the children get things done. Public opinion is with them, and the message spreads. Become the future. The children are too big of a problem for the world's leaders to solve. And so for the first time, they decide to do nothing. Even Orcis, high on victory and paranoia, they refuse to confront the children. They have decided that the children, they are a secondary concern, that their job right now is only to observe, that before they take on the children of tomorrow, they must first deal with mutant kind and what is left of them. After 1 month, the entire world has been changed. On the streets, in living rooms, in office buildings. This is what takes us over to Hell's Kitchen. And Cable, he is the first to say that he is surprised that cities are still standing. But the children of the Vault have rebranded to the children of tomorrow. They are taking their humanity into the future. At least that's what they're proposing. Bishop doesn't believe that this is possible. Cable says that maybe they've changed, that it has been 1,000 years for them. Maybe they have set aside what they once wanted to do. But Bishop knows that they are up to something, that they are doing something to people's minds. When he first heard them speak, he found himself wanting to believe. He was ready to give them the benefit of the doubt, and he doesn't give anybody the benefit of the doubt. They must earn it. This is what takes them to a shop here in Hell's Kitchen, a safe house in this neighborhood, something that he had built back in the 1890s. As they go inside, we see that this is one heck of a workshop. Bishop imagines what he could have accomplished if he had known about this place. For the last month, he had been fighting a war with nothing but the clothes on his back and whatever he could steal. Here, he's got weaponry, he's got machines, he's got anything that you could possibly think or need to fight a revolution. But he puts away the what-ifs. All that matters is the list. During the day, he was sleeping, under bridges, in basements, wherever he could find. At night, he made his moves, and so far, he had hit 8 Orcis facilities. There are 1,743 total, from space stations to strip malls. Bishop's aim was to burn every one of them to the ground, even if it took him to the end of time. But to get to that list, the situation with the children had to be dealt with. He knew that he couldn't do this alone. Not all 1 million of them could he take on, and so he needed help. This is where we see Cable come down, fully suited up with a new arm. He has been looking into the mind of Bishop, and he says that if anybody was there, they were immaculate. They didn't leave a single fingerprint, at least not in the obvious usual places. And so he's gonna have to take a deeper look. While these two have never really trusted each other, and this is because there was a misunderstanding not that long ago. The two of them went to war over it. Bishop had done things that he wasn't proud of. He thought his reasons were good enough, but they were not. And now some things simply can't be forgiven. But whatever else these two are, they are both mutants, which means right now they need each other more than ever. With Cable digging into his mind, he finds something. There seems to be a spot on his mind. He missed it because it's not telepathy. He doesn't know what it is, but it is growing. Loading his nurse tattoo, they begin to go in and see exactly what this thing is. And what it is a virus. Now that he knows where to look, it is obvious. Someone would have caught this before, but most telepaths are dead after the Hellfire Gala, taking him into the next room saying that he wants to show him something. Bishop's a little worried on maybe he needs to be wearing a hazmat suit or something of that nature. But Cable tells him that this virus, it doesn't spread that way. While he is technically infectious, it is a person-to-person virus. It spreads the way that ideas spread. This is some high-level engineering. The technology something like this would take. The children are the best bet at the ones responsible. If there's a way to stop it, that's hard to say. Plagues are notoriously difficult to control. Ideas even more so. And so when he asks Cable how far this thing is going to spread, as Cable looks into the minds of those around them, this thing is spreading far and it is spreading wide. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So this is not exactly what we expected from the Children of the Vault, but it also kind of is. With mutant kind out of the picture, the Children of the Vault didn't need to go on the warpath. Originally, they would have had to take out mutant kind. Obviously, the rest of the world would have seen them as a threat, and so the world would have fought back against them. But what the children did is absolutely brilliant. They took all of their technology and they gave it to the poorest. This is honestly what mutant kind should have done. If they wanted to win against humankind, they should have gone to the poorest of the communities and built them up. Well, the powerful, they definitely have weapons and everything else in between. Poverty is where the numbers are. The vast majority of humankind are poor. They are impoverished. They live in bad conditions. They live paycheck to paycheck. And so if you want humanity on your side, what you have to do is go to the poor. Get them on your side. And it doesn't matter how big your government is. It doesn't matter how big your organization might be or your corporation. You cannot win against the people. Historically, we have seen this time and time and time again. Revolutions are started because the poor have been pushed down. Governments have put their boot on the back of the necks of the poor, and they inevitably rise up every single time. And that is exactly what is happening here. The children of tomorrow have given them the possibility to rise up. They have gave them the weapons and the power to be more, to be bigger than the governments, to be bigger than anything else out there. There is no strings attached, or at least the people see that there are no strings attached. Little do they know that they have all been infected with the virus. One that is more or less convincing them that tomorrow, the children of the Vault, are their best option. It is swaying public opinion in their favor. So even if somebody didn't necessarily agree with what the children are doing, they would more than likely agree because of this virus. This is a thought virus that is spreading from person to person. Eventually, the entire world will simply just accept them. There will be no questioning it. In all honesty, it is brilliant. If you're gonna take over a world, this is the way to do it. Like straight up, mutant kind could take some pages out of this book. Not to say that they should implant an idea virus, but the children immediately went to the poorest, because the poorest makes up the vast majority of the human population. And when you give these people something like this technology that is 10,000 years in the future, you give them the ability to turn rock into prime rib. They're gonna fight for you. They're gonna stand against anybody that would try to take this away from them. And I think it is absolutely hilarious that the government and Orcis are doing nothing about this. Because this is an even bigger threat than mutant kind ever could be. It is a threat to corporations, to governments, to the ruling powers of the world, to the elites that exist, to the Fei Longs of the world. And there is absolutely nothing they can do. That's why I say mutant kind should have done it in this manner. If mutant kind had taken this approach from the very start, put resurrection on the table, put medicine on the table. Obviously, the medicine was tampered with, it's got a kill switch, we know that now. But if they had put this on the table from the get-go, maybe humankind wouldn't have turned on mutants so very quickly. Maybe they would have fought for the mutants. But instead, they were selfish, they were greedy. They saw themselves as gods, and that is what led to their fall. Their hubris is what led to the fall of mutant kind. And the children went the opposite direction, and we are seeing how much success they have had in 1 month. But if something is too good to be true, it usually is. So we're gonna see how Cable and Bishop handle this. No holds barred, no holding back, no pulling punches. They are going to war. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on everything that is going on with the Fall of X, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything that is going on with this storyline. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you're getting tons of perks in the process. If you cannot do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.